This video meets the criteria of legal fair use and those of YouTube's guidelines. No citation herein constitutes infringement under the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. I love that people nowadays are using the copyright and DMCA system to silence opinions they do not agree with. The DMCA and copyright system is not there to take down videos you disagree with or videos about you. It is there to prevent the stealing of content and claiming it as your own, thus plagiarism. And the fact that people are abusing this system is in itself illegal because they're filing a false legal document knowingly, which in itself is perjury. But apparently, that doesn't matter. I'm sorry, I'm a little pissed off. This happens to me sometimes too, and it happens to a lot of creators, which is just absolute. Let's enjoy the video. Oh wow, 3 screens. Oh, I've only watched season 2 of The Walking Dead. I don't have that much time now that I'm working. Not even working, like working and then applying for jobs. But it's hard to apply for jobs in banks that are getting screwed by the Royal Commission for corruption and doing things that they shouldn't be doing, but no one's getting sent to jail because apparently if you're a banker, you're completely fine. But they've got a hiring freeze, so even though you do the interviews, they can't technically offer you a job at this point, but they will screw you around. The Walking Divided. Where's season 5?
Time for a quick recap. Season 1, New York. Shia is arrested. Shut it down. Season 2, New Mexico. Someone pulled a gun. Shut it down.
Where's the video for season 2?
Fine then, we'll do a shitty flag.
I've got
Stolen.
season 3. Oh, because there was a gun.
Season 4, another flag, but with guards. Stolen. I'm going to sit in a cabin for a month and do nothing.
What's season 5?
Mission accomplished.
Where's the video?
And that brings us to now. The flag is back. Stationary camera. Completely muted audio.
Bastard.
No confirmed clues. Just a white flag on a white wall.
Son of a bitch.
Time to get to work. So, Shia won't be making a cameo this season. He has bigger concerns. Which is why his buddy, Luke Turner, featured here in Season 5, has taken over. So it goes live at 4 PM GMT. The first thing to determine is the source of this light. Is it a lamp or natural? Well, it's moving very slowly and its luminosity is changing. That means there's a window. The angle of the light means the window should be about here with the camera here, so the relative positions of things in the room should be like this. Next, they wait for sunset. Sunset is 8 PM GMT. Okay, that puts the flag somewhere in this zone. Does Luke have a house in this area? Yes, he does. Perfect. Time to do some recon.
Idiot!
As it gets darker, it would be easier to see a light flashing through the window. Location confirmed.
Wow!
3 hours, 58 minutes. So what now?
Break into the house?
Some people tried to fuck with the Wi-Fi router. No good. And then, nothing, really. I mean, look at this. What's the bloody point? This is no better than uploading a still image and declaring victory. Especially for art. It's boring.
Just cut the cable.
Now this was creating discussion. It was arguably the greatest reality TV show of the last decade. But instead we have this. So we're waiting. And we're waiting. And we're waiting.
Just cut the internet cable.
Until... Holy shit, there's a fly on the flag. People flocked back to the stream. The flag itself made for a makeshift Ouija board.
Really?
What was he communicating?
What the
What
fuck?
clues could this fly provide?
Wow!
D?
You're kidding me. Oh my god.
H?
So this is what
High
I'm...
definition. Why? What does it mean? Of course. People like to watch television in high definition, particularly when there's a football game or Game of Thrones or something, and when that happens, often people order food in so that they don't have to miss anything. The most common kind of delivered food is pizza. That's it. Send the house dozens of pizzas. Alright. They did this. Let me just say, they did this, and they shouldn't have.
They swatted it.
Come on, it's not funny.
They swatted the house, didn't they?
It's a little bit funny, but it's not right.
They set the house on fire.
Animals do that kind of thing.
You set the house on fire.
Don't do that. Thank you.
You called a fake hostage situation.
As I'm making this video, nothing really has happened outside of tracking down the flag.
Flamethrower?
No one has taken it. There have been plans to give it an upgrade. But there's a good chance that nothing will happen. That the stream will be like this for the next 3.5 to 7.5 years.
Really?
But, after 5 long seasons, the only way he can say he will not divide us is by locking himself and the flag away from the world.
Great, you created a prison for yourself.
But I suppose there's a bigger question here to be asked. If a man protests with a flag, but no one tunes in to see it, did the protest ever really happen? It was the show that should have ended seasons ago. A man, perhaps undivided, but almost certainly alone.
Of course he's alone. Look at him. Not even a mother could love that face.
Alabama,
you know, this song is still going to get me a copyright strike. Even though the singing is like questionable and the music itself sucks, I'll probably have to edit it out. Loving these names. Clockwork gone wrong. Blue team, green team, red team. I'm just talking to avoid a copyright strike. Pretty sure he has divided you. Is that it? Well, it is what it is. But, let's face it, the protest was a frickin' joke. I mean, it's a little bit like that protest about gun control with, David Hogg, the crisis actor. They go to supermarkets and they lie on the floor like they overdosed on Tide Pods, complaining that this is a peaceful protest to get rid of guns. And then you've got David Hogg, which is essentially capitalizing on a tragedy by getting free food from companies and demanding donations for other charities, which end up taking the money for themselves and the CEO pocketing 50-60% of all the donations. It is basically a pawn for politicians. And what I find very ironic is that they're labeling Trump a Nazi, even though they're funded by George Soros, that was a literal Nazi. Back in the day, he actually worked in the same building as Hitler. So you've got him funding it, and him funding a lot of protesters and crisis actors and whatnot, and they've turned it into this whole thing. And meanwhile, Trump is pretty much the only politician in, let's say, the history of America that's getting brandished, I don't know, a traitor or impeached Trump, and he's pretty much the only politician that's fulfilled his election promises. So he's doing exactly what he was elected to do. He fulfills pretty much everything that he's promised to do, and people are pissed off about that. Meanwhile, you've got politicians promising the world, and then as soon as they get elected, they do a 180. I can't do this, I can't do that. I mean, that thing with the embassy in Jerusalem, everyone's giving Trump crap for that. But let's not forget that the previous 4 or 5 presidents promised the very same thing. They never delivered. And Trump's even delivering the freaking wall. The thing no one actually expected to happen. That was a genius marketing stunt, to get him plastered everywhere because everyone loves controversy. But he's actually even delivering that. So, I mean, you might not like the guy on a, personal thing. You might disagree with his policies, but at the very same time, you have to admit he's fulfilling his election promises. So as a politician, he's pretty much the most honest politician in the world right now. And he's not even getting paid. And he's not even running a dummy a dummy charity where only $6 million out of $400 million is actually given to charity, while the rest goes to fund your daughter's wedding. Good old WikiLeaks. That's some good reading. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you can send me a link to the missing 2 videos, I would really appreciate it because they're not on YouTube. I'm guessing that season 2 got taken down because it had a gun in it. And I'm guessing season, what was it, 4 or 5 got taken down because I don't know what happened. So if you guys have a link, I would very much like to watch them. But, you know, as it was said, as a protest, this is pathetic. And it's not only pathetic in terms of the way that it's conducted, it's pathetic for the reasons that it's conducted. No one's getting divided here. No one's getting picked on. When you have an election, you essentially have the opportunity to pick the person that represents your country. So if you disagree with someone, go out and vote. And if that person is elected, prepare for the next election and have a campaign 6 or 12 months before the next election. Don't spend the next 3.5 years crying, lying on the floor in supermarkets, and, you know, slowing down productivity and GDP and all that because you're a crybaby. You know, if you want to be taken seriously, behave like an adult. When politicians get elected in Australia that I disagree with, I don't spend the next 3.5 years bitching about it on Facebook. I more or less just discredit them with memes about, 2 weeks before the next election. Every single campaign that they have and advertisement that they have, we spin at 180 and, turn it against them. That's how it's done. That's how you actually have real change. You, protest, you recruit, you talk to people, you change public opinion. You don't be a pain in the butt for 3.5 years because that will not change the world. That will only make the world hate you because you're pissing them off. And actually, I like that because what is going to happen in the next election as a result of all this bullcrap, he's going to win with a landslide victory because you pissed everyone off. So the very people that voted against Trump will probably vote for Trump just to piss you guys off even more. I'm not saying you guys that are watching the video, you guys are probably smart enough to understand what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the people that are being a pain in the butt for everyone in the country. You can't have positive change in the country by just being an ass. That gets absolutely nothing done. Complaining gets nothing done. You actually need to do things. And if you want to see change in the world, you got to roll up your sleeves and start being part of the change. You can't just complain because that is one of the attitudes with the young generation that is just laughable and disgusting. The fact that they just sit there and cry and scream and expect things, to be given to them, handed to them. You got to get your hands dirty. Not in the legal sense, but I mean, you got to roll up your sleeves and actually do some work. You can't expect to breeze through life, be a trust fund baby, and, get the new car, get the new job, get the holiday, get the girl, get the muscles, get this. Things in life require dedication, work, and sacrifice. And the young people are just spoiled little shits and trust fund babies that do not understand this concept. And you know what? I'm actually happy that they're triggered because it's a good wake-up call. I mean, when I was a little kid and I went up to my dad and I'm like, Daddy, I want an allowance. He's like, fuck off, go get a job. And what I did at the age of 15, I was working as a kitchen hand in a restaurant, one of the very popular restaurants here in Sydney. And I was working my butt off. I was getting burns on my hands. I was cutting myself, peeling potatoes for $10 an hour. And I learned hard work. I learned sacrifice. And I learned a good old-fashioned cost-benefit analysis. I didn't go to a Starbucks and buy $15 coffee every morning with Daddy's credit card and then complained on my gender studies degree that I didn't get a HD and then complained that there's no employment and my pay's too low and all this crap. So, sorry I rambled a little bit, but I hope you enjoyed. I just wanted to wrap this up in a sort of discussion format because I know you guys do enjoy me sometimes discussing things and giving my thoughts. But sometimes I'm just laughing for the lols. And I just wanted to wrap this up because this was more of a video that inspired thinking, which I really do appreciate. The first few were just entertainment, laughs, for the lols. Whereas this one inspired thinking, which is something I really appreciate. And it shows that the internet historian has a brain and he knows how to get a point across. So thank you, internet historian, for creating this great series. Love your work ever since I discovered it. I wish you all the best. I wish you millions and millions more followers because we need more people like you on the internet and not just, clips with jump cuts every 10 seconds screaming at you to buy merch. Anyway, till next time, Kuma out. Bye!
Like anybody here is on my anime expertise level. First, I'll have to get a job.
I have to pause at 250. I can tell that he's struggling to stop himself from laughing.